I want to say the best thing you can do to yourself or for yourself if you're in this meeting or you're hearing the sound of my voice around the world. We have many people who are in church, but they are not in Christ. And you've got to really ask yourself a question. Are you born again? And the Jesus that we are trying to market, the Jesus we are trying to sell to the world, the Jesus we are trying to present to the world. I'm saying this to most of us in the SADC region, most of us in West Africa, most of us in East Africa, and even around the world. The Jesus we are trying to present to the world is the Jesus who can do all things, but who we don't need. The Jesus who we need only what he can do, but we don't need his life. We're trying to present a Jesus who can work miracles, signs, and wonders, but who we don't need in our lives. Let's begin to present a Jesus who it is his life in us that empowers us to do the things that we will do. If without the life of Jesus, you don't need the hand of Jesus. Everyone who wants this Jesus that the Bible talked about, this Jesus that our fathers walked in line with. If you read Jeremiah chapter 6 verse 16, it said, call out and stand in the ancient path. There is a standard. And God, you see, in as much as God is looking for men, I know some of us will say, God is looking for people. God is looking for men to use. God is looking for men to anoint. God is looking for men to make great. But sir, in as much as God is looking for men, God has standards. God has what? God has prerequisites. And no matter how desperate heaven is for men, heaven will not lower its standard. The standards of God remain high. So never think that God will lower his standard for you. God will never lower. Heaven is looking for men, but heaven is not desperate to lower his standard. What most of us are doing around the world, around Africa, is not Christianity. What we are doing around Africa is not the Christianity of the Bible. It's not the Christianity that makes people go to heaven. The Christianity that we are practicing. You see, if you study the church history, there was a season that people were preaching the gospel of convenience. The gospel of convenience is the gospel when people were going about telling you that any sin you want to commit, you can pay for it. So people were practically, in the 18th, in the 19th century, practically paying for forgiveness. It was called the gospel of convenience. And today that is what happens because people have made themselves appear as demigods.